Hello, today's tutorial is on chair pose, Utkatasana. So this pose is a strength and flexibility pose. It involves the internal rotation of the legs. It requires the strength of the legs, the quads, the calves, the ankles, and it also lengthens and stretches out the Achilles tendon. So let me first start with a demonstration of this pose. We have our feet at hip width apart, which is the alignment of mountain pose. So let me face to this side. Feet hip width apart. So now we're going to do this version with the hands in prayer above our heads. So inhaling, we bring our arms to the top and unite them. And let's relax and lower and drop our shoulders. Exhaling, we bring our weight backwards and we start to bend. Ideally, we can bring our legs to a 90-degree angle where our thighs are parallel to the ground. We keep our chest open and we look up to our hands. Okay, now let me talk about common mistakes in this position. The most common mistake, actually, that most students do, is where they round the back, close the torso, close the chest, and then they try to do chair pose in this way. And in general, it's also the shoulder mobility that does not help the shoulders open up. So the shape is something like that. And then, so actually in this way, the way to correct it is you don't have to bring your legs down all the way to 90 degrees because actually this is very, very difficult for most people and most students. I understand that. So you can compensate, just bring your legs down very slightly. Your torso, it can be rounding because of the lack of mobility, but instead of having your hands united in prayer, you can have them shoulder width apart above the head. But I know this is also difficult for most of you. So the way to do it, we can have our hands actually in prayer at our heart. So in front of our chest instead of above the head. So let's see how we can modify this. First, we can try with the arms up. Drop the shoulders down. Do not flare them out. That's also one common mistake where it's like that. So drop the shoulders down, arms up, open the chest, drop the weight backwards. And if this is still hard for you, bring the hands in front of you in prayer. And another common mistake as well is the distribution of the weight, where instead of trying to bring the weight backwards to the heels, where you go down in this way, trying to push your hips backwards always, students could fall forwards. So instead of bringing the hips backwards, you actually fall forwards, something like that. Okay? So the way to think about it is to always keep trying to push your hips. Do not close your torso. Open them up and then just keep this modification. Stay higher up, hands in prayer. All right. So one thing I would like to talk about the alignment. So the traditional alignment is that your feet have to be hip width apart. But as you know, we are humans, and if you've ever also tried any other sport or discipline, like maybe gym, training, or even classical dance, you know that we don't only do everything with our feet hip width apart, that yoga is so insistent upon. So in a way, I don't think there is a single rule for every pose. I think if you wish, you can even unite your legs. If you need a greater challenge, you can have them even wider than hip width apart that people do in the gyms for squats, or even face them diagonally out. And you see this in ballet as well. Let me just show you quickly. It's all the same. For example, with our feet united together, applying all the same concepts, the weight goes backwards, and try to bring your legs to 90 degrees, always bringing the hips backwards, and you open your chest as well. You're not closing your chest, okay? Always have this, and your weight is not falling forwards as well, where your knees go very much in front of your feet or ankles. So I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial and that you have found it useful. So if there are any requests, please do comment below in the comments section. So I hope to see you for the next tutorial. Namaste.